Alright, here we go. I'm Mudfaerie. You're gonna have to deal with my squeaky voice as I talk about the Retribution Paladin changes in the Legion PTR. It's gonna be the pre-patch. So, first things you'll notice, Hammer Wrath are gone, Exorcism are gone, and our seals are gone. Now, because our seals are gone, this changes the way our class interacts with a bunch of trinkets, like the empty drinking horn, because we don't have our seal hits constantly proccing stacks. And in order to compensate for the loss of 2 of our Holy Power generators, we've got Blade of Justice, a new ability that generates 2 Holy Power, and Crusader Strike now has 2 charges. For utility, we've got these blessings here. One is basically a constant refreshing absorption shield, which you probably want to place on a tank. One is a Blessing of Might, which it's a damage boost. And one is Blessing of Wisdom, which is a health and mana regen, which you're going to want to put on a healer. Now, the thing is, right now these are really buggy, and it's kind of questionable if these are really going to be the kind of niche that a paladin needs to get a raid spot. We have a new slow, Hand of Hindrance, reduces movement speed by 70% for 10 seconds. Judgment no longer gives Holy Power, and instead it gives you a buff to your Holy Power spenders. So you get an 8-second window in which you want to spend as much as possible. The cooldown is 11 seconds, so you're going to have 3 seconds of downtime where you pool. But you'll see it doesn't really work out where it's supposed to be more advanced gameplay, but it doesn't really feel like it. And then we also have this new damage reduction ability called Shield of Vengeance. It absorbs up to 69k damage, numbers will probably change, for 15 seconds. All the damage you absorb will be attacked. You deal back the damage you absorbed to everything around you. Divided. As Paladin, everything's always divided. And we have an interesting new passive called Retribution. When anyone in your raid dies, you gain 20% increased damage and 30% reduced damage taken for 20 seconds. So this is good for, say there's a hard part in a fight, people are dying, you still have a bit of a damage reduction and a damage done boost to help you progress through that fight. Our mastery has also changed, which is quite important because, again, we no longer have our seals, we don't have our hit, plus our seal, plus the mastery on that hit, plus the mastery on that seal, doing anything, doing a ton of damage. Instead, we have Divine Judgment, which increases Judgment's damage and increases the buff that Judgment gives to your Holy Power spenders. Now, if you look at the talents, oops, I had that open already. I'm not too impressed with the talents. Final Verdict is a straight damage buff to Templar's Verdict and Divine Storm. Execution Sentence is a basically 7-second dot that you can cast every 18 seconds. And because Judgment is 8 seconds long, you want to cast it in the Judgment buff so that every tick of it gets, oh yeah, it costs 3 Holy Power now, no longer free. And Consecration is the obvious AoE talent in that tier. The next one, Fires of Justice, feels the best to play. It reduces the cooldown of Crusader Strike, and it gives it a chance to have one of your Holy Power spenders cost 1 less Holy Power. I feel like I said that wrong, but it makes the game play feel a little bit faster. Zeal is basically like a chain attack, with each jump dealing 40% less damage. It feels slower, but it is currently, the numbers can change. It's currently more effective. And then Greater Judgment just makes your Judgment cleave, which is good because right now Judgment is a debuff on the target, not a buff to you, meaning that your Holy Power, say you use Divine Storm, Divine Storm will only be increased damage against the one target that you hit with Judgment, not the others. So it's good to judge more things. And then the next talent row has not changed. It's a stun, weird CC ability, and blinding light. Here we've got Virtue's Blade, where Blade of Justice crits now deal 3 times normal damage, versus Blade of Wrath, which basically, instead of Blade of Justice being a physical damage attack, it changes it into a Holy Power damage attack, which negates boss armor. And then Divine Hammer is the AoE ability. This next talent row is kind of a disaster. We have Justicar's Vengeance, which costs 5 Holy Power. It's very expensive. And it deals a lot of damage, and it also heals you equal for the amount of damage it does. And it does 100% additional damage and healing when used against a stunned target. Now, I don't know when you're going to be able to stun a boss, so this sounds like it could be good for leveling, you know? Well, yeah, I guess leveling, or open world content, but it just doesn't feel like it belongs in a raid, especially with that hefty of a price of 5 Holy Power, and maybe PvP. Eye for an Eye is our replacement to Divine Protection, which, by the way, is gone. It's a 1-minute cooldown, and it reduces any physical damage you take by 35%. And if an enemy melees you, it will counterattack them for about 20k. Now, I don't know when you're going to have the boss melee you. I don't think the tanks will appreciate it if you just, you know, taunt the boss in the middle of the fight. So, the second part seems more like it's geared towards, you know, again, leveling or PvP, but at least the damage reduction is useful. And then Word of Glory costs 3 Holy Power. Word of Glory now heals 5 people around you as well as yourself, but it's still a waste of Holy Power to heal yourself, when that's the healer's job. Now, I also don't like the talents in this row. I like them even less. We've got Divine Intervention, which the only good thing about it is that it reduces the cooldown of Divine Shield by 50%. So if you tend to stand in a lot of crap that could cause you to die, I guess this is a good talent. Any attack that would kill you would reduce you to 20% of your health and trigger Divine Shield, but it can't be used when Divine Shield's already on cooldown or when you have Forbearance, because all it does is press Divine Shield for you if you're not too good at predicting when you might die. Not good. We've got Divine Steed, our only good movement ability, and basically you get to ride a horse, as you can see, during combat. Next is Seal of Light. Use 1 to 5 Holy Power to increase your movement speed and waste Holy Power for, you could be using that on damage. It's not good. Next talent, this row is also pretty disappointing. Divine Purpose is the same as it was. Your Holy Power spending abilities have a chance to make your next Holy Power ability free. Crusade replaces Avenging Wrath. Now, I'm going to talk about why I don't like this one. Avenging Wrath currently increases all damage you deal by 35% for 20 seconds. Now, Crusade, baseline 2.5%. Each Holy Power spent during Crusade increases damage and haste by an additional 2.5%, maximum 15 stacks. What's 15 times 2.5? It's like 37-ish, whatever. Now, that's only 2% more than you'll get for Avenging Wrath, and you don't get it for the full duration of Crusade. How is that an improvement? It's just not good. I'm really not impressed with that. And then we have Holy Wrath. It deals damage up to 4 enemies within 10 yards around you, equal to 200% of your missing health. So it basically, any health, it's just really weird. It's good if you're low on health, but it has a huge cooldown. It's every 3 minutes. You only really want to use it when you're, like, very low on health. So it's like, it's weird. It's like they want you to time it for when you're... It's like they want you to save it for when you're not doing so good in the health department, but you can only use it every 3 minutes, so it feels like a waste if you don't use it on cooldown. It's not good. You gotta go with Divine Purpose at this point. And we can play around with the talents a bit here. You'll see it feels really slow. You gotta cast Execution Sentence within. And I don't know if you can tell here, but you generate Holy Power very slowly. So it feels like you don't have enough time to cast all the spenders you want inside your Holy Power buff, just because I don't know what I was going to say there. You don't have a lot of time to pool, and you don't have a lot of time to cast, and you generate really slowly, and it just feels very, very different from current Paladin, and I'm not sure if I like it yet. And I'm not sure if right now our single target is looking very mediocre, our AoE is looking very mediocre compared to other classes, and our utility is, quite frankly, not all that impressive. So I'm not sure if I'll be continuing to main a Retribution Paladin in Legion. We'll see how the numbers are, but the playstyle isn't exactly tempting me to pull through. I don't know what I was going with that. Yeah, utility sucks, damage is mediocre. Playstyle feels much slower compared to current Paladin. I like the idea behind some of the changes. I like the idea of a pool and dump. It makes for smarter gameplay, but everything just feels so short and so slow that it doesn't actually feel like you're making any intelligent decisions while you're playing. You just feel like you just can't get abilities quick enough. And that's that.